Hey everyone, welcome back to the new video of BA interview series. In this video, we will be talking about the advantages and drawbacks of waterfall model. So the question, however, how it has been put by the interviewer is that what do you explain me the advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model, or how do you describe waterfall model in the form of advantages and disadvantages? This kind of question is usually asked by interviewer when you are going for a fresher business analyst interview. For an experienced individual, probably your interviewer will be skipping this part because he or she might be aware about that you should be familiar about this thing, and this is a very basic things to for an experienced individual to know about it. Okay, for an experienced individual, they would be probably be focusing more on the agile, which I'll talk about in the upcoming videos. But for a fresher business analyst, because they focus more on the conceptual part, the understanding part, so they would like to understand that is the person being aware about what are the positive and the negative points of the waterfall model. Because with the understanding which a candidate would be sharing with an interviewer, they would get to know that do he really understand waterfall model in and out or not. Okay, so before we dive into the details about what advantages and disadvantages, I would really like to request you all, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please press the bell icon to subscribe now. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. So firstly, I'll talk about the advantages of a waterfall model. So in the previous video, we have learned about this. What is waterfall model? Waterfall model is a project management methodology where it allows, or it basically focuses on managing the project one step at a time. We have multiple steps that needs to be executed, just like every software project, but there is no overlapping of steps which happens in the waterfall. It's like firstly initiation phase, planning phase, then designing, then development, then QA, then deployment and maintenance. So there is no overlapping which happen. All the steps executed which are being required, but just one step at a time. Okay, so now keeping that understanding in our head, we'll be knowing about the advantages. The first advantage is project cost. It is because we get all of the requirement at the start of a project. So identifying the project cost gets easier in the waterfall model because there is no scope of any other changes coming up down the line. So it's like with all of these requirements available prior, the development team, the companies can properly put up the quotation that okay, this is the price which will be implemented for this project, or this is the project cost. Okay, next, no new requirement. This is kind of advantages also that with this waterfall model, probably there is no hustle of or worry which has anyone has in their head that there could be a requirement which could come in the picture, because there is waterfall model do not support any requirement addition during this complete process. So there is no addition of requirements, so everything which you have planned at the start, they keep on executing and implemented as and when however you have planned. So there is no new addition which comes up in between. Straightforward. Now you have all the requirements at the start, you have done all the planning, you have done the designing, so everything is very straightforward. It's not like you are performing any one thing and then you have understand that okay, at this point there could be a challenge and complexity. You have already underwent or performed the first step, you got the clarity, and then you have proceeded ahead with the second step. So implementation of project using a waterfall gets straightforward. That's everyone just need to perform into their work task that has been available to them. Clear requirement. We have all set of requirements quite clear at the start of a project, so there is no discrepancies, gaps in terms of requirement which happens. Requirements are quite clear and they are being followed and implemented in the same manner throughout the project journey. Milestone tracking. Now, because we have divided the project into different phases, different steps, different milestones, so it is easy to understand that how much percentage we have completed. Like if we have started with the project, designing is completed, so we can say that design milestone has been completed, development is completed, so we can say that development milestone has been complete. It also depends upon how you are breaking the milestone, but ideally in the waterfall, the milestone tracking gets very easy, it's very convenient to track it upon. Okay, so these are a couple of the advantages of the waterfall, where it communicates that it is very easy, straightforward to implement. There is no obstacles, challenges which comes around with the waterfall, no new requirement, the project cost is straightforward. You are able to determine the exact project cost at the start of a product. Okay, now let's move ahead to the disadvantages or drawbacks of waterfall model. similar to advantages, there are some drawbacks of waterfall model, because of which there was a need of a different project management methodologies and frameworks in future. The biggest drawback which we have talked about is the client doesn't get to see his products in between. The product in which the client has invested so much, he is not able to see the project unless it has been completed. So he is just sitting and just waiting for his product to complete it, which is the biggest drawback of waterfall model. Okay. Projects take longer time in waterfall to deliver. So basically what happens is, because we know that there is no overlapping of step which takes place, so ideally if a designer has been taking expected to take 10 days, and now because of any XYZ scenario he is taking 13 days, so the 3 days of gap which has came around, that would be impacting your complete project journey. So it is not like whatever design has been completed, your development team member would start working on those. No, your development team member would wait till all the designings have been completed. Okay, so any delay in one step would be delaying the complete process. So that's why it sometimes there are huge chances of things getting delayed in waterfall model. Okay, it's less flexible. With the waterfall, we have seen that there is no way by which you can add or remove anything. Things would be proceeding ahead in the way they have been planned. So there's very less flexibility has been provided. Changes that come future are time consuming. So now understand a scenario where you are doing an implementation, and now once you have shared a product with your customer, that the customer suggested that they have to do this kind of change, or there is a need to do this kind of change, XYZ change. Implementing that change at the end of a project would be more time consuming if than implementing that change at the middle of a project. So if the customer was being aware about it, okay, this is how it has been implemented, and he might got a chance to share his feedback earlier, and during the development itself, if he has shared his feedback earlier, in that case that feature might take that might have taken less time as compared to once the project has been completed at the end and then that feature has been implemented. Okay, so the changes which comes in future, they basically adds to more of the complexities. Opening door to new request, new feature become harder to accommodate. Now if we are opening door to new feature and new request only at the end of a project, it becomes very difficult to incorporate that, because now the complete system has been built. Now any new addition of feature, any new update of feature in those existing implementation might have its impact on X number of areas. So the impact areas becomes higher, the impact areas becomes more critical than the feature implementation. So with every feature implementations, we might have to consider about XYZ or around hundreds of impact areas which are been arising in between. Also, probably the way the features have been implemented earlier could be altered if that request has came in between. Okay, so there are sometimes the technical complexity, there are sometimes the technical challenges which all comes arise if the request has been coming late into the pictures. Deadline creep, when one process, as we have talked about, that if there is a delay in one process, then there would be delay in the complete process. So chances of missing the deadline gets higher in case of waterfall methodology. Okay, so these are few of the drawbacks of waterfall methodology. The biggest drawback still I'll say is about getting customer feedback, getting customer involvement. Okay, meeting the market needs and trends. Market is changing drastically, so if we are not opening ourselves to inculcate or incorporate the trends of market, the things which have been running in the market, then probably we are lagging behind. Okay, even if we are delivering something, then we are just 2 years behind the market. So it's like that is the biggest drawback in the waterfall methodologies. Okay, so this is how you could define them in an interview, whenever your interviewer is asking you about the advantages and disadvantages of a waterfall model. Hope you have learned something new from this video. If yes, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.